concerning the poll taken by Newsweek magazine, I think you said that this was the leaders who said that, who went with King and against Mr. Muhammad around 90%. I just told you a little while ago, these leaders that they call leaders, this included Lena Horne, this included Dick Gregory, and this included comedians, comics, trumpet players, baseball players. Show me in the white community where a comedian is a white leader. Show me in the white community where a singer is a white leader, or a dancer or a trumpet player is a white leader. These aren't leaders. These are puppets and clowns that have been set up over the white community and over the black community by the white community and have been made celebrities and usually say exactly what they know that the white man wants to hear. And it is an honor, actually, that they endorsed Dr. Martin Luther King and were against the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. That's actually an honor. Now, when you say that they also, in the same Newsweek poll magazine, they, I think the pollster said that he went into the Negro community and asked about the Muslims. And many Negroes whom he asked said, well, I never heard of the Muslims. Who are they? You know,
this is the rank and file we're talking about.
Oh, yeah. Now, when they got down to the rank and file, this was the answers that they got. This is equivalent to the situation in Kenya during the Mau Mau uprising, when many frightened whites in Kenya, Africa, would go among the Africans and ask them, what about the Mau Mau? And the African would say, I never heard of them. And the same white man who would ask the African this question and very naively believe what the African said, when he went to bed that night, he would lose his head. And usually the one who took his head was the same African who told him that afternoon he had never heard of the Mau Mau.
Except in the Newsweek poll, they used Negro interviewers.
You'll find that oftentimes Negroes are as much on guard around Negro interviewers, who usually represent the bourgeois element of Negroes, as they are on guard around whites. Usually Negroes know that when this bourgeois Negro walks through the door, he is not doing something that he's initiated himself, but he's involved in something in which the white man is the absolute author of and has sent him to the Negro community for some information. And when they give that Negro some information, usually they give him the information that they want him to take back to the white man, because that's who he's going to take it back to.
Yeah. So black celebrity worship is what we're here to talk about. You hear the legendary Malcolm X talking about how black celebrities are often used as pawns against the black community. Black celebrities are compromised. You got to remember, people loyalty go to whoever usually line their pockets. So that's what we're getting into today right here on Breakdown Friday. You see me, you see Professor Carl Tone Jones, you see Patrick Irving. We are here to break it down one more again. Shout out to everybody who's been supporting us. Make sure you all hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe, because we're about to get into it. As you already know, get your pen and pad out, put your seatbelt on, because we diving deep and we ain't holding no punches. We're here to keep it real. You know, our main thing about these breakdowns is taking the information that our master teachers give us, breaking this information down, make sure we're understanding this information, and then make sure that we use this information to better our lives, to better ourselves, to go towards nation building. We're builders of tomorrow. That's the name of my audience, that I name my audience, the builders of tomorrow. That's what we are, nation builders. So we are the builders of tomorrow. So let's make sure we're doing what we're doing. Let's make sure that everything we do is going toward nation building. Remember, Dr. Francis Cress Wilson talks about the unified field theory, which means everything is connected. Everything that you may think is an isolated incident, what goes on in the system-wide supremacy, is a part of the bigger picture. Let's look at the bigger picture. Let's put the pieces of the puzzle together. That's what we're here to do. All right. So, PC, Pat, this is a historic clip, a very popular clip from Malcolm X talking about black celebrities, how black celebrities are often used, how they've been historically used by the people who line their pockets to basically deceive the black community. Start with you, PC. What are your thoughts on what Malcolm was talking about as far as when it goes to black celebrities, and how does that, in your opinion, how does that translate to the way we worship celebrities today, and the images that celebrities are, or the images that celebrities portray today?
Well, my screen froze up. I know my internet's trash, so But
It's all good. Shout out to Metro.
but yeah, not. I wish it was Metro. Then I have a legitimate excuse, and I'd be saving a lot more money. But the I totally agree with Malcolm. I've agreed with his premise way before I even heard him say it. And especially since I've been active on social media in the last 13, 14 years, one of the things I've been pushing is that we stop allowing celebrities to speak for us. I'll never forget the time I saw D.L. Hewley, and I forget who it was. It might have, I don't know if it was Tucker Carlson, but it was one of those pundits.
Bill Maher.
It might have been. And I think it might have been, O'Reilly. Yeah. And I watched him mop the floor with D.L. Hewley. And D.L. Hewley is a very intelligent person, as far as I can tell. I don't necessarily agree with everything he says, but that's me with everybody. But one of the things I've realized is, see, you can't be a scholar, and that's your hobby.
Right.
And you're going against people who practice political science, people who have degrees in political science, people who understand how politics truly work, people who understand the fine details of history and understand how they mesh and how they go together. People who understand policy and what it goes and how policy is created and how policies run. You can't do that if your full-time job is acting, if your full-time job is being an entertainer. This is, so, and no disrespect to Dick Gregory, who, I have a great amount of respect for, but Malcolm was right. You can't, these people live this shit. They live this every day. They move in this every day. So you can't expect to be on par with somebody for you taking time off for a show to go step up against the mic for somebody who made a whole career out of the ability to debate you on these points. It just doesn't work. And what it does is it's very, very, very disingenuous, and you can tell like these things are put together in bad faith in regards to having these actors and entertainers and sports stars represent Black people in political spaces where they're ill-equipped to truly represent Black people, but the population of Black people is so enamored by their stardom and their fandom that they still look at these particular arenas, and now that becomes entertainment, which doesn't provide tangible gains for anything we've done. And in fact, it puts us in position because once they see how devastated these entertainers get, in terms of like the debates that go on, now you sort of like mush the whole argument, which probably was a legitimate conversation to have about a legitimate point that need to be made. So I'm all for what Malcolm said.
Yeah. What do you the second part? How do you think the image of Black people is, especially because the celebrities usually represent the image of Black people? So how do you think the image of Black people is in the world right now?
Well, I know the image of Black people. Black people are children of the world. Like that's something that has been widely stated throughout the for the last 400 years. Black people are seen as, let's just go way back now. Let's go back to the beginning of the colonization of Africa and the exportation of Blacks, Africans to America, and the colonization of the Africans who were in America already. You go back to those points, and whenever you read their narratives, it's always about we have to rein in these savages. We have they're childlike in their thinking, and we have to, remold them and sculpt them and shape them into being civilized people and things of that nature. That narrative has been, has turned into a self-fulfilling prophecy for us, because you see us trying to be that now. You see us living in that place where we do act like children, where when we've talked about it before, where we have an arrested development. So the whole world sees us as children, because if you're not nation building, and we're going to keep going back to this, if you don't take care of the necessity of the necessary policy types of decisions that need to be made, and you rely on somebody else to take care of that for you, well, then that means you need the assistance of a nanny state. Therefore, you are children in the eyes of those who have to be your nannies. So, and it doesn't help, because if you look into your famous, like rock stars, it's like children looking at the poster on the wall of their favorite superstar, and then that person says something, that child lives by the words of that person. That's how we are these today. You got people literally having debates over whether Lizzo is too fat or not. And that's the conversation in our community. You have people bragging about the rights to wear their hair a certain way. And those are seen as political victories. But that's really minuscule. And when you talk about being in a world where you need to actually have access to power, we need to hold on to power. You need to fight other people for that power. That's a minuscule conversation. Because if you have the power, then you built your own institutions, institute your own policies. You don't have to ask a damn person about wearing your hair any type of way.
Well, I mean, think about this. When Barack Obama was president for 8 years, the most that Black people could brag about, or did brag about, or celebrated, was the clothes, especially what Michelle wore, but the suits he would wear, the dancing, the slick sayings and stuff, all the celebrity type stuff. And you didn't hear Black people really commenting on the policies, on the actual work that it was doing. It was all the celebrity stuff. And it's like he gained a place in Black people's hearts through the celebrity and not through the actual work.
Yeah, well, and I know Pat's ready to jump in here, so I'm just gonna say this about that you had gatekeepers. You had Malcolm spoke about the bourgeois class of Black people who made sure that they were the buffers between President Obama having to answer any significant questions from Black people who felt like he had an obligation to, to his delegates. That he had an obligation to put policy in place that wouldn't be removed in the first 30 days of the next presidency. We had people who got their pockets padded. And as Malcolm said, we should always be suspicious of the bourgeois Negroes, because they serve their purpose. And this is why we say it's children. Because as long as they got their privileges, as long as they got access to their toys, as long as they didn't give a damn about the rest of the community. And they blocked him. They actually put together a shield of bourgeois Negroes like Al Sharpton and all these other cats that and Oprah Winfrey, and I don't mind saying their names, who shielded him from having to answer any legitimate questions in regards to what Black people deserved, what Black people fought for, why Black people were breaking the necks to vote for us behind and get them elected twice, all those different things. So once again, we treated it like children.
See, I know where you went. I know where we went wrong, but especially you right there, right? Because you was thinking practical. You was thinking how you supposed to think. You thinking logical. See, you went deep. You went like you supposed to. You actually thinking. I ain't even go that far. We weren't even thinking that far. We was more impressed with what they wore than any of that.
Oh yeah, I heard.
Which is sad.
You sound real good at the Apollo.
Yeah. Pat, what you think about what Malcolm X was saying about the celebrities and how we worship the celebrities and how we worship the celebrities and the impact the celebrities have on us?
I mean, I agree with what PC said. I think as a community, the biggest problem we have, because we're not going to
let it go.
If we jump right into solving problems, right? Because if I go into all of my frustrations, then I'm gonna basically echo everything PC just said. So, if we go into solving problems, then we look, man. We've been black long enough to understand the way black people operate, right? They love celebrities. Anybody that's in front of anything with a bunch of other people watching them, and black people is gonna be right there. You know, Barack Obama was a celebrity president. Michelle Obama continues to be a celebrity first lady, and even his children, who
Celebrities
are only really famous
for being
for
little.
being born into the right family. And kudos to me, because it took everything in me to not say that in a very foul manner. So I'm getting better. But their only real advantage, or their only real claim to fame, is being born into the right family. You have hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of black folk following their every move. So my thing becomes, all right, if that's the way black people are, because we come from a group, a collection of social societies that place a lot of value on social capital, then how do we get those celebrities to do their due diligence? Because you look at, like, Malcolm X is a perfect example. Malcolm X wasn't a full-time scholar, but he had scholars on his team that he listened to, that he took advice from and counsel from. So those people that are in that spotlight, instead of at this point, instead of continuing to rage and rail and rally against them, because they're not going nowhere, they have all of the clout. We can scream till we blue in the face. It's basically akin to LL Cool J when he got into the rap battle with, I just forget his name. Cannabis. Yeah. Cannabis had the better bars, but ain't nobody know who Cannabis was.
Right.
So LL Cool J won by default. Or we go again to KRS-One and the Nelly beef. By the time Nelly was battling with KRS-One, ain't nobody, none of the kids listening to hip hop knew who KRS-One was. So you had all of these. These are two great examples of people with superior skill and knowledge and ability railing against people with clout and being unsuccessful in the black community. What does that tell us? That tells us that railing against clout is pretty much a lost cause. So what do we have to do from there? We got to try to get the celebrities to start taking the advice of those people that have spent their entire lives studying something. You know what I'm saying? And I just like that, because I'm not trying to repeat PC, but I think that's where we got to go as a community. We got to get to a point where, okay, the masses are the masses. We accept that. But I'm looking at guys like J. Cole, who are willing to learn from other people. Can we put him in touch with somebody? I'm looking at, but then I'm also looking at guys like Kevin Gates, who is growing a massive platform and don't got nothing of any sort of intelligence to say. And I'm like, how do we put this brother with that voice and that platform and that aura in front of people, or in front of people with sense, that he can then interpret their messages and spew it out? I think that's kind of where we got to go. Cardi B, Mary J. Blige, all of these people, because it goes back to what PC said, that I don't think any of these people are unintelligent. Like, I don't think any of them are stupid, but they're not equipped to be in the realms that they're in with the people that they're in them with. Like, yeah, to the average Joe, and this is no shot to Danny Glover or Donald Glover, because I think he is somebody that is an elder statesman in a lot of ways, but he spent a good chunk of his life as an actor. So to the average person, he does know a lot. But you put him in front of somebody that's the same age as him, that's been studying what he's talking about for all their life, he's not equipped for that conversation.
Right. I mean that it's like taking somebody who really loves to play football and then putting that person against somebody who's in the NFL who does this on a regular basis, and the skill level going to be totally different skill level, right? Because if I do this every day, I'm going to be better than you at it. I'm just going to be more talented, more learn, more research, more all those different things. This is what I do. This is what I master. You're going to be a better actor than me, and I'm going to be a better scholar than you, because acting is what you do. Scholarship is what I do. But I mean, I hear what you're saying, Pat, but my question for that though is, at the end of the day though, can we really trust celebrities at in any cost? Because I mean, I hear what you're saying. We need to, like, it would make sense to get the people who have the clout to, have a paradigm shift and get to this information. But it's compromisation. They compromise.
So now you put me in a situation where I gotta just be honest.
Go ahead.
We fucked. That's the honest truth. We're fucked. Because the community is not going to turn its back on celebrity worship.
Right.
That's not going to happen. It's not. Stop it. If you think it is, you're delusional. Stop it. It's not going to happen. Not only is that become a staple of Black culture, but it's become a staple now of American culture.
Right.
But the difference is, in a larger American society, when these entertainers start speaking about issues, they're actually referencing scholars. And when a largely Black entertainers speak on issues, they reference themselves or other entertainers.
Well,
so it's so at this point it becomes, all right, those of us that know better build our little enclaves for ourselves and hope that it catches on and spreads out, because we can't trust the celebrities because they are compromised. We see how quickly J. Cole, whom I mentioned earlier, is at this point, he's backtracked on statements he's made, I want to say 4 or 5 times, because some smoke came to him through Twitter. And so you're looking at a lot of these guys, and girls, they start to backtrack when that smoke comes. And the reason they backtrack is because they're not equipped to stand on their block against that kind of pressure. So at this point, it becomes a cycle. So no, we can't trust them, but no, we can't. The community's not going to stop believing in them. Umar Johnson never became as popular as he was when he embraced being an entertainer.
Yeah. Umar is a sound bite right now, comment relief right now, because we just got through earlier talking about the clip. I sentenced you to 500 lashes, popping that belt. Like, bruh, like, I ain't gonna lie, that's funny as hell, but it's like, it's funny, but it's cringy at the same time, because they're making fun of him as well.
But Tariq Nasheed is another. He's figured it out.
Yeah,
he has to entertain his audience.
Well, see, the caveat with Tariq though is Tariq told us who he was up front,
and I don't have no issues. Give a shit. Proves the point.
Yeah, I don't have no issues with Tariq. Tariq is he cool with me. I don't have no issues.
I don't because Tariq is cool.
Yeah, he told, because he was up front. This is what I am. This is what I'm doing. But everybody else who came under the veil of I'm this way, then they shift into the end. Because you see it now. Like, look at a lot of the YouTube channels here that are dedicated to giving Black history information and just Black psychological information and stuff. A lot of them have gravitated toward the relationship stuff, because that's popular right now, and that's how you're getting celebrity. So we're not even really talking about real Black issues. We talking about the same baby mama, baby daddy stuff.
Yeah. And I think that well, let me get my Kevin Gates one. Well,
gotta go and get it down the street. Yeah, you know what I'm
saying. Sometimes I just get out the bed and I just put one foot down at a time. So, let me stop, man. I like Kevin Gates. Kevin, you saw this, bro. We just tripped. We playing right now. But listen, man.
I'm not.
It's amazing though, the dancing pancake sells. And that used to be how Black shows came on. It used to be like, you go back into the 70s, it'd be dancing pancakes and food. Yeah, just clickety clacking and tap dancing.
Let's go out to the market. Let's
But
go down to the market.
what do you have to do to get the attention of children? You have to be loud, you have to be funny, and you have
Colorful.
to do what? A lot of movements, colorful, right? And that's what we're talking about. And people get so mad because instead of looking at it from a critical lens of saying, shit, I got to grow up, a lot of people looking at it like, man, F y'all. Like, okay, yeah, that's what a child would say. You know what I mean? And that's what we're dealing with, unfortunately, is our arrested development, our refusal to move past a certain stage, because you move past that stage of I'm just gonna, I'm just going to debate you back and forth to, okay, let's find some action. Let's do this in good faith. So it's not a debate anymore. We're building. And if we're going to build on solutions, and we're going to build on it. We don't need to be entertained. And I know this from doing street work. And I know y'all brothers do street work. Y'all know when you first start off, it's real exciting. Everybody's outside and everybody's, oh yeah, we want to do this and the other.
That lasts a day.
By the second or third gathering, you're down to a skeleton crew. Why? Because this ain't like the movies. This is not a cinematic, you don't hear the music popping off when you're about to do something. You don't see the momentum,
There's no celebrity in it.
You don't see it cutting from scene to scene to scene. What you see is the real work, the grunt work, the reason why they call it grassroots work, because it's on the ground. You see the groundswell of work in front of you, and it's hard work, it's thankless work. And we know that people they ain't got the bones for that, but they'd rather sit back and critique other people. And it's real easy nowadays with social media for you to critique people without actually being in the same space they're in. And it's very safe for people to be so. Flip it. And let's not, take out the fact that there are some other entities, some other variables that we don't always mention, but they're also, so social media allows infiltration to happen at a very high rate, trolling to happen at a very high rate, or some type of bot that's happening that's trolling, but that keeps us from staying focused on task. But when it comes down to it, I think people pretty much have given up on the build, and they would much rather go back into that. Because if you don't talk about entertainers, 60 years ago, 70 years ago, entertainers knew their role in this for the most part. So prior to Lena Horne and Dick Gregory speaking on political issues, which, by the way, wasn't all bad, right? Because they were the ones that had visibility and platforms. Pat said they should have had scholars around them. You had other people like Sam Cooke and Harry Belafonte who said, you know what?
They had scholars around them.
Well, what I mean is, in terms of like a Lena Horne.
Baker. Yeah, they didn't. Specifically like Sam Cooke and like Harry Belafonte and Sidney Poitier and them. They had more access to the scholars than the other ones. You're right about that.
But they were also funders. James Earl Jones put movies together to fund them. What's the brother that
don't you talk about James Earl Jones? He was with a white woman. We don't like him.
He explained why he was with a white woman too,
and we don't like him for that too.
Well, listen, then we better stop liking Serena. We better stop liking Eve. We better stop liking a lot of other people.
Black girl magic.
That don't go both ways. Stop it. Come on, man. Celebrity, you trying to hold down black celebrity women, man? What you doing, man?
I know, bro. I need to just wash it all off. Hold on.
But so for me, one of the things is celebrity also acts as a shield or protection or something to deflect accountability and responsibility from a lot of celebrities. So 2 examples. We talk about how toxic Future is, and we talk about how messed up Robert Kelly is, right? We've been talking about how toxic Future is and how messed up Robert Kelly is for years. And before Robert Kelly got locked up, when everybody knew what was going on, Robert came to Tallahassee. These women in Tallahassee lost their damn mind. And because I've had several conversations with women who went to the concert. They knew what was going on, knew the allegations, but didn't care because they love him and want to see his and want to see him because they love his music and they love R. Kelly, and someone was hoping they could get a chance to get something from him.
Man, his stages was full of panties.
Right.
Like people taking panties off during the show and throwing them on the stage. And that's
Right.
like the whole second half of his career was sponsored by the same group of women who chastised men for allowing R. Kelly to pull up to these shows. The hypocrisy and lack of accountability when it comes to those things. I mean, like I said, it's still childlike, it's juvenile like. Oh, I didn't do it. Am I going to get in trouble? No, and it points to something else too, though, because we love nothing more than a scapegoat. And if we can point to something a celebrity ain't doing, then we have a reason for it not getting done.
But that's the bull, though. That's because they are not the benchmark of excellence. They are not the baseline of what we should be. Because like I say, people talk about how toxic Future is. Future came to Tallahassee. Future put up in the projects in Tallahassee. Man, you would have swore the president showed up.
Yeah, but see, and I'm gonna take like the mafia, right? Although they didn't exist until like the 60s, according to J. Edgar Hoover. The mafia, when they would have people like Frank Sinatra, when they would have singers like Marilyn Monroe, they pretty much came to the people understanding that they represented the people. They weren't treated, they were treated like celebrities, yes, but at the same time, they were celebrities that had an understanding of their connection with their community, based on the fact that there was powers in play that said, yo, this is how it goes down. This is what your responsibility is. And then we're going to take care of you. In other words, they took care of their celebrities. They didn't worship their celebrities. Their celebrities had a job.
Right.
Nowadays, the celebrity worship, is idol worship. It's funny, right? Because there's a television show that was just out recently called American Gods. And, one of the things that show, and it was a brilliant show, spoke on was the fact that the old gods, which were the legends of old, they called them
mythological gods.
Yeah, right. Even though they did some wordplay with that. I'm not gonna get into it now, but it was the modern gods was technology.
Yes,
the modern gods were stars, superstars.
Yeah.
The modern gods were with social media. And things and how those was worship. And you look at what's happening right now, a person will look at you on social media and determine their respect for you based on the amount of followers you have.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Your visibility on social media. Now, in real life, a star is based on how much money they have. So now we're talking about, well, I don't mess with Puffy. Why? He only worth 800 mil, but Jigga over here got $1 billion. What difference does that make?
Neither one of them know you or care about you.
And I mean, listen, we have our priorities skewed. I'm gonna let you go, Joe. I'm sorry.
Well, Pat, you want to jump in?
No, y'all cook.
Well, I was just gonna say, but let's just pull the Band-Aid. Fuck it, I'm gonna rip the Band-Aid off. Fuck it. Look here. We worship celebrities because celebrities are the closest thing we got to white people. And we want to be white. We want everything that come with whiteness because we've adored whiteness forever since they brought us over here. So celebrities are the closest thing that we have to white people and whiteness and living like that. So that's why we worship them, because they are our windows to the white world. Because that's the world that exists in.
Yeah, that's every aspect of our being right now.
Let's just call it what it is. That's the root of the celebrity worship, is the envy or the wanting to have what master has. They go back to that slave mentality. They want to have what master have, want to be next to master, want to have all the riches and want to be adorned. Because if I have the Benz or the BMW, if I have the house, if I have the brands, the white brands, remember all these things come from white folk. If I have all these white trinkets, then I am somebody, because this is what makes me successful. Our image of success is whiteness. And however close we can get to that, that's what we're trying to do. That's why, that's one of the, I'm not gonna say that's the reason, but that's one of the root reasons why we worship celebrities. Yeah, I said
it. Yeah, it is. I mean, in the word worship, I mean, worship, our religion is white supremacy. The religion is
Right.
not who you pray to, is what you practice.
Right.
And so, I mean, everything you just said, you know, the bottom line is until and we take things, we don't take it literal enough. We take the whole concept of knowledge itself figuratively, but no, literally. Like, Negro, who are you? Learn who you are. You know what I'm saying? Do a deep dive into your culture, your people, and understand the importance of your work, because the celebrities, they are a product of us, but they are not to be consumed by us. We have to be the ones who are actually doing the groundwork, the foundational work. Go ahead, bro.
Didn't that lady tell you that community building, nation building don't pay no bills?
Yes, she did. Yes, she did. She said community building does not pay the bills.
So that
nation building rather does not.
Even though I'm with you, but that cut out everything you about to say, because community building don't pay no bills. So
ain't that something? Ain't that something? Bruh.
But hey, being famous, having all the likes, having the followers though, but being a celebrity, that paid the bills. It don't give us in the end what we need, but it's not about that. It's about being popular and worshiping celebrities. Because once again, white supremacy is, like you said, it is our religion.
Yeah. And the more in denial we are with that, the more denial we are. Because I see the comments, and I respect everybody in the comment section. I think you have great followers of the show. But one of the things is, like, I'm all for the semantics. You know, identifying white supremacy does not mean I believe there's a supreme being and he's white. No, it understands that that's the power structure right now. They are in control, and to be in denial of that is being in denial of reality. You know, we don't control none of this. We don't even control this channel we're on right now. If YouTube decided today or tomorrow that they didn't want to hear anything else about On the Shoulders of Giants or anything else from Joseph Ward, like that, like the Thanos snap, and it's gone. So we have to be real about, we have to be real about creating the reality that we claim we want to be a part of. And that means that we have to actually do work. But Negroes are too lazy and too comfortable. And what's bad is the things that are about to come are going to make a lot of people wish they did that preparatory work prior to, because we're heading into a very bad economic situation that people are going to feel the ripples of for a long time.
Hey, but the celebrities gonna bail us out, though, ain't that right, Pat?
Word. That's one thing I think y'all keep forgetting about as y'all are launching into all of these inspired soliloquies about the negativities and malignance of the black community and the black bourgeoisie class, is that, you know, behind every strong black movement is a strong black white person with money
singing a ballad.
Hey,
coming around the mountain when she comes.
Yeah, you know, and the bigger problem we have here is that it's too many dark-skinned people trying to get involved in uplifting black people, right? That's the big problem we have here. When you look at it, who was more effective, Malcolm or Martin? The light-skinned one, right? Who was I'm just talking at this point. But seriously though.
That's why you got me.
Right. Exactly.
I'm in the middle, huh?
And you the tallest, right?
You over 6 feet.
Sitting down.
Yeah, you light. You
ladies see over 6 feet.
And you got a full beard.
Philly beard.
I want people to walk up. No, I don't.
And then you go to Joe, right? Joe is in the middle. He can get the middle amount of facial hair. he the middle bright lightness, and he the middle tallness. And then you got me, right? I'm the darkest, I'm the shortest, and I can't get no facial hair. And I can't see.
Hey,
Like,
look here.
so
Hey.
nah, but seriously though, I think I agree with what you said, Joe. I was trying not to, because I be saying a lot of crazy stuff, and I'm trying not to. But the fact of the matter is,
Speak your mind.
Until we can rid ourselves of the plague that is excitement about proximity to whiteness, and that's something that like it's like when you start homeschooling your kid, for it to be effective, the very first thing you got to do is something called unschooling. Meaning you got to break them of all of the habits that they learned that made them successful in traditional school. You gotta undo all of that, because the home learning environment is not going to be like that. And in the Black community, we think that just learning these facts frees us. It doesn't. It basically means that you know a bunch of stuff. You could go on Jeopardy and probably answer some questions.
Yeah.
But do you still have the same implicit biases, the same drives, the same those same things that spur the rest of the community into white acceptance? Do you still have those things? And you see it all of the time. What's the first thing Black people do when they get money? They move away from Black people. What's the first thing Black people do when they get resources? They start trying to be something other than Black. They start trying to separate themselves. Or they go the other way, where they got money, but they want to be super Black now. And that's when you get into the hip-hop things. And in all of that stuff, even that stuff is stuff that's driven by the larger white narratives. Because we all know, like, it's been broken down to us by numerous artists and execs over the years. We know that music makers, who are the primary pushers of Black culture, both to Black people and to other communities, their goal is to cross over, which means they have to make themselves most appealing to a demographic that's not theirs. That means that they have to become familiar, and they become familiar by becoming what other communities think that Black people are. And so it all ties in. Like, there's still that proximity to whiteness. Even when we think we're moving towards Blackness, we're still in fact moving towards the white idea of what Blackness is, which is putting us in closer proximity to whiteness. So until we can rid ourselves of that, and we, like I said, look, you go all the way back to antiquity. Black people, the world over, are a social people. We grew up in an environment that was rich in resources. So we started to become people that were developing social networks and social equity and social capital. Those things are innate to us. We value those things, which is why I say you're not going to undo the celebrity worship. That's built into our fibers. It's just not going to happen. White people largely were developed in communities where resources were not as abundant. So they don't have that same social capital built into their fiber. But they're intelligent enough to let a system be established where they can manipulate everybody else that does have that problem. So my thing is, okay, we're not going to break this problem, at least not anytime in the next 50 to 100 years, in my opinion. So how do we work? How do we create a system where this thing that's built into our fibers works for us? Because you go, like I said, you go all the way back. Black people have always worshiped popular and powerful people. Always have. From pharaohs to whatever you name it. We've always worshiped well-known, established, wealthy people. How do we use that to our advantage?
So we're gonna need like new celebrities who came up with the mindset and nation building have been instilled in them. Because I mean, like right now, you got Keke Palmer out there encouraging girls to become single mothers, and then come back after the baby like 5-6 days old, talking about how hard it is to be a single mother. Well, you were just out here championing single motherhood. Like, That is not something that should be happening. But if the strong black independent woman in the media says that, then it's got to be law because her feelings are valid. Or, on the other end, you got the Tory Lanez out there. You got the rapper, just the average rapper. The average black male rapper is celebrated for being a fake thug. Like, look at Ja Morant. Like, come on, look at Ja Morant right now. Ja Morant right now is suspended and in trouble because he want to be a thug, because that's the image, that's the celebrity image that he feels is the best right now. It's popular, it's cool. So you got baby mamaism over here and you got thugism over here. But these are the popular images. The popular image of the black woman is the whore, and the celebrities perpetuate it, and the regular black people support it. And the popular image of the black man is the thug, the no good baby daddy. The celebrities perpetuate it and the black people support it.
Let me jump in right here real quick, and then I'll be quiet. Because this, so what you just said, right? We're not gonna create new celebrities. This takes me back to listening to a conversation PC had when he was asked to be on a panel, and he was trying to explain to a group of people on the panel that the concept of feminism and the modern woman that we all that we all ascribe to in the modern age was propagated by a couple of white women trying to push some magazine products, and
Right.
yeah, they might have had some nefarious intent, but it wasn't based on reality or anything like factual, like in terms of like a real struggle that was present in our community.
Right.
When PC showed the clip of the white ladies talking about it, if he had been in that room, they would have stabbed him, cut him open, and ate him alive.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all I got to say about that. Like that. Look, that's what we dealing with. We're dealing with people that are so entrenched in this way of thinking that they will shoot you, your grandmother, and your grandkids if you try to change it.
Hey, well, I mean,
damn, I remember that.
I remember that too.
That was ugly. And the bad part about that was it mattered not what information was present or made present or clear. This is literally out of the horse's mouth. I don't need no white to tell me anything. And who the you to think you telling me anything? Bruh. That was like, that was another form of a wake-up call.
Yeah, but I mean, the crazy thing though is, like, we talked, we had a couple conversations. So Dr. Welsing in the ISIS paper told black women not to mess with feminism. Shahrazad Ali told black women not to mess with feminism. But black women celebrities told black women to run to feminism. Oprah.
Gabrielle Union.
So the celebrity voice is more popular, it's more stronger than the other voices.
It's not necessarily that. I think what it is I mean, they are more popular, but I think more so it's been created, socially engineered and crafted that celebrities are going to be forced to say things to make people feel good.
Right.
And we know that if you make our women feel good, and this is no shot at the women, but it's just what it is. If you make our women feel good about something, they're going to go for it. And the fact that our boys have been raised in like maybe 2-3 generations of households run by women, so they think like women, that they're going to be moved on their emotions and feelings too. I can't tell you how many times I've had conversations with people, and I say, well, here's the facts. They're like, I don't feel, but what I feel is this. I said, well, put your feelings to the side. Factually, show me where the flaws are in my argument. I don't need to have no facts because I just feel like this. And these are boys I'm talking to. So, like Pat said, that probably won't work in celebrities. Another part about that is to protect and insulate celebrities, and I just don't see black people doing that. Black people, we love to have people speak out for us and then watch them stick their neck out for us, for them to get it chopped off, and then we get as far back as possible. The most we might do is a hashtag or something, but we're not going to make sure that those people are protected. The same power against the same power base that really has us scared to say anything. It's certain words we can't say, you know what I'm saying, because we're afraid of being canceled, right. And by our own people. Well, people who pretend to be our own people. So
black people didn't even care about Jane Elliott till she became popular. Jane Elliott been saying what she's been saying since the 1950s. Black people didn't care about her until she became popular.
She did the brown eyes, blue eyes experiment. Well, she did it the day after Martin Luther King died. I mean, so we're talking 1968. She's recording this stuff, yeah.
She had her own TV show.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But it's like, at the end of the day, though, if it's stamped by whiteness, black people rock with it. If it's stamped by whiteness and it's popular, black people rock with it, because at the end of the day, that's who we want to be like. That's our drive, to match Massa, to get what Massa had, to reach that pinnacle. Because we think about it, we talk about equality. We want to be equal to white people, because whiteness is the standard to us. That's what we've made it. Of course, it's been ingrained, but we keep reinforcing it generation after generation.
They're the yardstick, unfortunately. And we, it's funny, this whole conversation, we practically had the Independence Day Project. I don't want anybody to buy it at this point. I'm actually about to take it off the market, because
don't do it. No, he ain't. No, he
every
ain't.
Time I mention, look, bro, every time I mention it, people want to debate it without ever seeing it. So
hey, man, forget that. Forget that. Look, y'all. Look, that's a great piece of work.
I'm joking about that, but seriously, right? They chopped our balls off. And that's why that's why you have that coin, am I not a brother? With the man, with the brother on his leg, on his knees, begging and pleading white folk to stop whipping his behind. They didn't chop our nuts off. So, and I saw this, I see it all the time, actually, how we won't have conversations, or we won't get into heated debates about anything real when it comes to nation building, right? But we will get hype, raise our voice, stick our chest out when it comes to who's the top 5 rappers of all time. When it comes to debating whether Michael Jordan is better than LeBron James. When it comes to whose football franchise is going to win the Super Bowl this year, or this, that, and the other. I've seen it. I've seen the people's nose hairs tremble when it comes to that. But when you start talking about addressing white supremacy, Negroes show you how they act when the real ops pull up. And that's what a lot of this comes down to. And the celebrities are always going to play it safe, because the second a celebrity actually speaks out, they become crazy. They become, all of a sudden they should be clinically, clinically analyzed. They should be, these people, they're talking wild and crazy stuff. And then sometimes these cats maybe are a little off of their rocker, but a lot of times they're sitting in rooms behind people, sitting around people that are actually saying some real shit. It takes me back to what's Mr. Helter Skelter again? What's his name? I always forget his name. But the crazy white dude that
Charles Manson.
Charles Manson, right? Charles Manson is not as crazy as people make him out to be. Charles Manson started saying some real stuff when he started interviewing him, because of all of the people he was around. Just like we talk about celebrities being around thinkers of the past, being around scholars of the past. That was Charles Manson 40 years ago, 40 years ago. That was Charles Manson with the, cream of the crop when it came to UCLA, USC, Stanford, Cal Berkeley professors and thought leaders about society and what was going on in the world. And he was their celebrity at the time. You know what I'm saying? So you start talking real stuff, you will be institutionalized in a heartbeat, and then they remind you who the real power is. Just ask Cat Williams.
Well, look at Nick Cannon. Look what happened to Nick Cannon when he did this interview with Professor Griff. After that interview came out, They took his stuff from him and basically made him beg for it back. Same thing they did with Kyrie. They didn't like what Kyrie said. They made him. They punished him. Like because it's like Nick Cannon and Kyrie. Well, more so Nick Cannon. That I know more so that Nick Cannon is connected to scholars than Kyrie is. I don't really know about Kyrie. I know Nick Cannon is connected to scholars, but Nick Cannon is part of the new wave celebrity who's connected to the scholar and has access to the information. We know we've seen him. We've seen him on this show, but he can't use it. He don't know how to use it for nation building. He can't use it for nation building because at the end of the day, who lines his pockets? And it's more money in that than in nation building. And he got too many kids and too much interest in what's going on in white America to give that up for true nation building, and despite being around all these scholars.
And when you look at what happened to not just Kyrie, but Kanye West even, and I'm not here championing Kanye West anything. I'm not doing that, but I'm just saying the response to everything he said, that man lost 2/3 of his wealth in one day. And that was them sending a message across. That was like the thunderclap sent across the world to all these celebrities that get out of line. We'll take this. We gave it to you. We'll take it away. And that's the biggest problem with celebrities right now is how rich do you have to be to say, you know what? I don't need none of this anymore. How rich do you have to be to say, I'm going to start building with my brothers and sisters? And you know what happened? I talked to Baba Smalls. One of the things he said was when the last time he talked to Tupac, like a couple days, I don't know, day before he died or whatever, Tupac was like, yo, this whole thing between him and Biggie was, staged pretty much. That him and Biggie were going to get together and create like a distribution label, like a distribution company. Well, right before that, or right after that, you had 3 other execs talking about creating a distribution. Like I'm talking about actually getting access to the real royalties and money and music. They got raided by the FBI. You know what I'm saying? Now, Biggie and Tupac got killed. They always have markers out there waiting on, that situation for us. We don't have enough of us to where if it happens, you just create it. It's like the Hydra. You cut a hair off the Hydra, then 7 more appear. We don't have that in line in place. And that's one of the things we would need.
Okay. I think this is where people might stop liking us because I've seen a video of Baba Smalls telling that to somebody that what Pac and Big was, but and he was saying this was staged. Yeah, but you still hit him up and everything else that you did, Tupac. You still did all of that. You still actively participated in the beef. You still did that, which turned out to be negative. You still did that. That has to be acknowledged. You can't be real, Pac. Be real. That's what you did, huh?
Tupac is dead, my brother.
He's not dead.
Oh,
not dead.
No, I mean I know, but that's literally what happened.
Machiavelli is alive. Tupac is dead.
Like you can say it was staged, but we got the tape of the participation.
Look, Pocket, but so I bring up hip hop for a reason. Hip hop is in the Black community. We have worshipped hip hop for the last 40 years. For what? Like that is a perfect example of a celebrity creating machine that does nothing but torpedoes the community. Over as much as I love Tupac, his worship is largely unjustified. As much as I love all of these guys, even KRS-One. KRS-One became conscious when he stopped being relevant. Like let's be real about this now. He became this great philosophizer and all of that after he stopped being relevant as a musician, as an artist, as a pen. Africa Bambaataa. All of it's like we forget the origins of stuff because we do. It's not like, and then we just make up some story about what actually happened to create it. And then we just run with that, totally forgetting that the true origins are shaping the way this thing is moving. Hip hop was started as a party movement for young people who couldn't get into the disco clubs. That's where the music comes from.
Yeah.
Young people who weren't old enough to get into the disco clubs but wanted to have fun. Hip hop is fun party music.
Yes. Yes.
And then we tried to turn it into this deep philosophical,
Yep.
and now we're all mad at the mumble rappers. No, is real hip hop.
Hey, I look, I was in a debate with somebody and I got whooped because when they hit me with that, like, because I don't know what I was on, but I was trying to argue that hip hop is a conscious music. Then we're like, no, bro, it started as party music. I had to shut up and take my L because it's party music.
Party music.
Yeah.
So, but what I think the people that really want to do better need to do is what I said earlier: create our own little enclaves, create our own music that actually has this stuff built into the fabric of it, instead of trying to convert something. Because one thing that we have learned, or we should have learned over the years, is that stuff that's woven into the fabric of something is not changing.
Right.
It's there. In order for America to stop being a racist country, we would have to burn this bitch down and start over.
Yeah.
It's here. It's in the fabric.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Same
that's
with
why
celebrity worship.
Well, that's why we haven't gotten anything tangible from hip hop in the last 40, 50 years. So
we ain't got nothing tangible from hip hop ever.
Exactly.
And the little bit that we did get, we gotta roll that back because Bambaataa was touching on little boys.
I'm gonna have to bleep that out, but okay.
I thought I said it safely.
No, I'm just playing. I'm just playing.
I was like, I had a lot of worse stuff going
Allegedly.
through my mind.
Yeah.
Allegedly, right? Allegedly.
Yeah. But also in that, I remember watching something when Bambaataa and some other early hip hop pioneers was talking about how they had a need to get hip hop into the white clubs to expose to crossover. Even in the early days, they wanted hip hop to go mainstream, wanted to crossover, wanted the white crowds to integrate into it. So even from the beginning, hip hop was being pushed toward the white masses.
Well, let's think about this now. If memory serves correctly, the first hip hop hit was created basically by the 70s version of 6ix9ine. Weren't them dudes pretending that them was them raps and they was really doing this and they weren't?
Yeah.
Weren't them dudes faking?
Yeah, because Buddy even said Grandmaster Cash's real name, the C-A-S to the N-O-V-A, the rest is F-L-Y. That's Casanova Fly. Grandmaster Cash. Yeah.
So again,
Milli Vanilli.
Like everybody's mad at 6ix9ine is more hip hop than anybody else around him right now. Like let's just keep it a buck. But this is what we worship, right? Like and we worship it because it's on the TV, and if it's on the TV, then it's obviously better than me because I'm not on the TV.
And you know what plays on that is the bad condition of black people, to the point where black people always wish that they were somewhere else. And they always sort of like, so we go into this respite state of mind thinking where we want to live vicariously through these celebrities. And we want to live, and to the point where I've seen people actually get into fights, damn near shootouts over an argument concerning two celebrities.
Yes.
You know,
seen that.
And that's the sad part, because hip hop was started by not only the fact that they were young, but they couldn't afford to, they were blackballed. They couldn't get into those discos.
Right.
You know, so they created their own parties in the parks and abandoned buildings and things of that nature.
That's you know, we all love hip hop music.
St. Louis, well, you got in Nashville, they have the Hollywood, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
And so you know, both times.
The government on you heavy.
Yeah, you said you got Botox.
You got to say
yeah,
that
I know it
again.
happened again. Yeah. I said, she passed internet. Verizon Files, y'all. This is that don't get that shit. So one of the things I think that's very necessary for us to understand is like what you said, Patrick. This is woven into the fabric or something. We have to start with younger children. I'm talking about preschool, pre-adolescence, pulling them out of these institutions to reteach them, while simultaneously laying the foundations for institutions for them to go to as they mature and become old enough to be the next leaders of the generation. We have a lot of black schools, a lot of homeschools that are opening up all over the country. But unfortunately, our children still have to go to these indoctrination centers known as college. And if anybody has ever been to college, one thing you know is it's a more intense indoctrination program than in high school and all those other places.
Don't forget about the indoctrination centers called homes as well. Black homes.
Yeah.
Because there's no reinforcement for the nation building when they go home. Because you take them out of the schools, but they still got to go back to the parents who got the same mindset because they've been through the school system. They've been indoctrinated. So,
and I will say this, and this is where I will give good brother Dr. Umar some credit. When he came up with his original idea for the school, one of the things he said was, I want the children to stay at the school because if they come back home, the parents will re-indoctrinate them into the same BS they were in. And then they would have to go through the process of re-educating the children once again, once they came back to school. And I think that those are some things too, education, they made it a bad thing in movie of re-education centers, but we need re-education centers for black people. I'm not talking about this stuff going on up here. I'm just talking about in terms of getting us culturally in tune to the things we need to do. Because Pat, you said 50, 100 years it might change. Bruh, we might not be here the next 10 the way things are going.
right. Hey, 500 lashes. That's funny. I'm sorry. That's funny.
Is that a rubber band, my guy?
Yes. That's all I got right now.
Oh, hey, shit. Umar's going to react to this video. We're all going to get lashes.
Hey, man. That's all. I mean, when you did it. You said it. You did it. We didn't do it.
For once, I didn't say nothing, so I'm good.
Now that's funny though. That's my clip right now. That's my favorite clip right now. But all in all, we have to, like you say, the enclaves that we need to create those enclaves and make sure that we enforce those enclaves with the messages and with the right people and create the right environment to go toward nation building. Because one of the biggest entities, one of the biggest things that we are fighting is the messages, the propaganda that is pushed on us and pushed about us, and especially through the celebrityism. The celebrities are the gods, or the messengers of the gods, and somewhat become the gods, right? But white supremacy is the overarching god, and then the celebrities are the angels and the messengers and things. But once again, black celebrities are the closest thing that black people are going to get to the white world. So they are the representation. They will be worshipped because of that, especially here in America. On top of what Pat was talking about, the cultural thing that's within us, celebrities are the closest thing to white people because they exist and they live in the white world. So
let's say it the right way then.
Go ahead.
Celebrities are the devil.
Ooh.
I mean, not the devil. Their God is the devil, the anti-God. And so then the celebrities themselves will be demons serving the dark master, their dark master, and hoarding people into a hellacious, conditions and lifestyle. That's more accurate because when I think about God, I think about something totally different.
Well,
I get what you're saying though.
But that's a good way to sum it up. That's a good way to sum it up, American God style.
There you go.
Yeah. Hey man, that's how we do it. Break it down. Look, you ain't trying to be friends. We trying to nation build. All right. So that's how we do. Shout out to the builders of tomorrow. Y'all know I love y'all. My audience is the greatest audience here on YouTube. So love y'all. One time for Professor Carl Tone Jones. One time for Patrick. This is Breakdown Friday. This is how we do. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like this video and share it and comment. And let's make sure we keep running these things up. Let's grow this channel. Let's grow this channel. Let's grow this channel. Builders of tomorrow. Y'all know I love y'all. Catch this next video.